Welcome to Innovations and Breakthroughs with your host, Rich Goldstein, talking about the evolutionary, the revolutionary, the inspiration and the perspiration, and those aha moments that change everything. And now here's your host, Rich Goldstein.
Rich Goldstein here, host of the Innovations and Breakthroughs podcast, where I feature top leaders and the path they took to create change. Past guests include Roland Frazier, Rick Cesari, Joe Fire, and Matt Wolf. This episode is brought to you by my company, Goldstein Patent Law, where we help you to protect your ideas and products. We've advised and obtained patents for thousands of companies over the past 26 years. So if you're a company that has software, a product, or a design you want protected, go to goldsteinpatentlaw.com, where there are amazing free resources for learning about the patent process. And you could email my team at welcome@goldsteinpc.com to explore if it's a match to work together. You could also check out the book I wrote for the American Bar Association that explains in plain English how patents work. It's called the ABA Consumer Guide to Obtaining a Patent. I have here today Zach Benson. Zach is the CEO and founder of Assistagram, which is an innovative Instagram management agency that has over 220 million Instagram followers under management. Zach's a full-time entrepreneur. He's a TEDx speaker, social media trainer for international brands such as the Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, and the country of Dubai. And this guy speaks on big stages, and he gets interviewed by and works with people like Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, and Jay Abraham. So it's quite an honor to have him on my little show here. And the interesting thing about Zach is that he was an award-winning dancer, and he was also a finalist on Fox TV's show, So You Think You Can Dance. Welcome, Zach. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Rich. Yeah, pleasure to be here. Happy to be here with you today.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're in South Korea right now, and it's really early. It's 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. here, Wednesday. So yeah, just starting the day bright and early. But yeah, super stoked, excited to be here with you guys today and share some value.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. And I mean, you do that quite a lot. You share value with lots of different people. And I know you have a credo like where you really believe that that value starts with people. Like you value people.
Yeah, well, to me, life is all about people. And normally it's like I'm in another country, another culture every single week. I'm traveling, I'm exploring, I'm speaking, I'm teaching, and also just learning from all the people that I meet around the world. So that's what life's about to me. It's cool to see how people live life and arrange their lives and live daily. You know, that's just culture, and I love culture and love people. And that's how I built my businesses, was just through high-level relationships and networking.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, part of that, what I've heard too, is that I've heard you say is that you basically show an interest in people. Like you ask people questions. You look at everyone as a potential friend, and it's like that curiosity that that creates connection, right?
Yeah, because you never know who you're gonna meet. Like when you're sitting on a plane or you're on a bus or in line, strike up a conversation with someone, express a genuine interest in them, compliment them on something, and see where the conversation goes. And that's how I approach like everyone in life, because I think everyone has value and worth to offer others. Everyone's special as a human being, and you never know who those people also know, right? And so it's all about finding a creative way to stay in touch, and see what happens from it. And that's how I've just done life.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it's really interesting too, because you grow people's Instagram accounts on a very large scale. And it's kind of interesting because like social media is about scaling connection. It's about like not just gaining an individual connection, like a single connection. It's about gaining millions of followers. But yet, like you could zoom into and create a single connection. Like both of those are valuable to you. Creating millions of connections for someone and creating a one-on-one connection.
Oh yeah. And the reason, like, I'm just focused on, I just want to be known, heard, and seen everywhere, right? So like when people post on Facebook or Instagram and they ask like, who do you know who is the best Instagram growth and marketing monetization expert? Like, I want to be tagged like dozens and dozens of times, because that's a lead generator. And so not only will I get that person as a client, but I'll get all of their friends as clients too. And so that's always my goal, is from a business standpoint, is
But
to
I get it, and it's really fascinating to me because like that in itself of what you mentioned, like you're a monetization expert, right? And monetization is about seeing opportunities that actually pay off, right? But yet at the same time, you'd think that a monetization expert would be scarce about their time. It's like, I need to focus on the right opportunities, but yet you're abundant with your time. Like, you give your time to lots and lots of people without fear that you're like, wait, I'm not following the right opportunity here. It's just fascinating that you're able to kind of like live, kind of, you scale things and yet be just abundant and have plenty of time to give to people without looking at, well, how am I going to pay off from this individual relationship, you know?
Yeah, and I haven't always been like this, Rich. Like, there's definitely been some mindset changes, and some growing up that I've had to do.
Hmm.
But it's just the way. Like, I mean, take look at Roland Frazier, for example, like one of our mentors, right? He's just like, I love how he like interacts and talks to people. Like, everybody that comments on his Facebook posts or messages him directly, like, he doesn't maybe do it exactly right then and there, but he chooses a time during the week or the month to reply to everyone. And I think it's good to give everyone you know give them time, because people have given me time very generously. So you just got to pay it forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm learning that myself. I mean, I've been um, like a big secret to the way I've scaled my business has been managing my time. Where, like, for example, I get hundreds of inquiries per month about potentially doing a patent. I can't talk to all of those people, and so I have set up systems where I have my team, for example, talking with those people to see who's ready to get a project going, and then I end up talking with those people. But yet, I mean, like I said, I'm learning. A recent thing that I'm doing now is I do a Q&A, 1 hour of Q&A every single week, every Friday. I do this thing called office hours, and then it's like anybody can come and ask a question. And so it's like what you mentioned with Roland, like kind of setting a time aside to be able to just reach out to people and to give to answer people's questions. And so that's a new thing for me, and I'm enjoying the hell out of that, by the way.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, like that weekly like Q&A, that live stream. I think it would be super helpful to everyone. And it's like, I don't hop on a call with everyone who reaches out. I either connect them with someone on my team, I point them to another product that might serve them. But normally how I'm being smart with my time is, if somebody who I would say is also in like a very high level mastermind and says like, and is a client, and says, Zach, you got to meet so and so, because I was talking up about you and telling them how good you are. Then I do a phone call, um, or I just answer questions through voice notes and
Right.
Voxer, and
Got it.
that works too.
Awesome. So I guess let's wind it back. I mean, you were a professional dancer, and so
Yeah.
that was really your passion, right?
Yeah, before all this marketing stuff, I was a breakdancer, right? So I taught dance all over the world and was in 50 countries, was on TV shows, So You Think You Can Dance. And that just kind of kickstarted my career and made me just go for dance full time. But, it started in high school, because in high school, I was a very shy boy. I was always getting in trouble, really, because I never participated in class. I had a speech impediment, so I couldn't say the letter R, not until I was like in my 20s. So I was never talking to people. I didn't have a lot of friends, so I had to find my voice. And an elementary school friend of mine who I grew up with gifted me a breakdance DVD. It was called How to Breakdance by Mike Garcia. And I watched that. I fell in love with it and just started practicing and working and working. And, eventually I started a crew and winning competitions, traveling the world. I was on TV shows. And towards the end of my career, I was even making a lot of money, almost $1,000 just teaching dance workshops,
Mm.
uh, a few hours a week. And so I figured out the formula to travel, to teach, do my passions, but then to monetize very well. And my secret was I was never the best because I never won the show. I never was the champion, but I found my niche. I was like, I'm going to teach at mom and pop studios. Like, I'm going to teach, instead of teaching at competition studios, I'm going to teach at just recreational ones that are just for fun. And I'm going to offer a fun breakdancing experience to challenge them, to improve their performance, improve their attitudes, and help them work better as a team. Um, and that's all I focused on, ages 5 to 8, the little ones, 9 to 12, 13 and up, and adults. And each class was 2 hours. And I charged $50 per student and gave like $10 to the studio.
Mhm.
And I'd fly to a city and I'd teach in one part of the city, town, and then go on to like maybe 2 or 3 hours away to another city in that state. And I'd choose 2 or 3 of them to work with each and every weekend and do like dance tours. And that's how I made a 6-figure income.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you found a niche, like you found an audience and a type of experience that you thought would be valuable to them, and you did it different than the way other people were doing it. You innovated it.
Yeah, yeah. And those are fun times. And so
Hmm.
that lasted for about 8 years. And then in India in 2015, I hurt my back and had to have a couple of surgeries and hit rock bottom, right? It was, I was living life, traveling, doing something I really loved, making pretty good money. And then it was all gone just the next, pretty much the next day. And I couldn't dance anymore. And so that same friend called me up and was like, you got to get on Instagram now. Like, me and my brother, this is the next thing that we're doing. Like, invest with us, buy an account. Like, let's grow other people's accounts with this big account, advertise on it. And that was when my Instagram uh, thing started.
So, what lessons did you take from the way in which you kind of created yourself and promoted yourself as a dancer? Like, what kind of lessons did you take from that into growing your Instagram business?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, the main thing that I took from it is to not is it's learning the art of cold outreach, right? Because you have people, obviously, as you get to bigger and known and more famous, you have people that just reach out to you, say, hey Rich, I want a patent, or
Right.
hey Zach, I want a breakdance class, or I want to grow my Instagram account. Like, that's starting to happen more for us, right?
Hmm.
But at the very beginning, it's like you have to do both, right? Maybe you do get some organic inbound, but you got to be a good outreacher. You got to be a good connector, a networker. And I mean, that's kind of what I learned in dancing, is because it's a numbers game. Some people are going to say no, some people say yes, but kind of who cares? So what? Move on to the next person and find someone that will say yes. Like, yes, Zach, I want to teach. And so it was that. And then also just the resiliency, never giving up, um, staying persistent,
Hmm.
and just putting myself out there. I think was the biggest lesson, because I think a lot of people are afraid to get rejected. A lot of
Yeah.
people are afraid to fail and to look bad. And so they don't take a chance and reach out and connect and make an offer. Um,
Yeah.
Whether it's on the phone or email or through text, I think a lot of people, they struggle with that, to make an offer, ask for money, and provide a service. Maybe
Yeah.
in the beginning, they don't know how to do that.
No, that's definitely true, and like I could totally relate to the part about, um, about putting yourself out there, and like you said before, like you grew up with a speech impediment, and I did too. A similar experience in high school. I was extremely afraid to get called on in class and have to like read a passage or something like that that would typically happen, and so I think that led to I had quite a bit of stage fright too of getting out in front of people. Um, and it's funny, like I fixed my speech impediment myself. I was wondering how, it was kind of like in New York City school system, they had different programs, and like so there was a speech program, but it was reserved for people that had learning disabilities. And so they did the tests on me, and I did not have a learning disability, so there was no program for me. So I taught myself to get rid of the. I had a lisp, and I taught myself kind of how to get past that. It was kind of funny.
You know, it's funny that a lot of these things that we struggle with are just like things that sometimes can fix ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird, but it was same story with me. Like I just stopped trying so hard.
Mm.
Instead of like trying to like put my tongue here and place it at the roof of my mouth or do whatever my speech therapist was telling me to do, I stopped being so self-conscious and stopped trying to do it perfectly and just started speaking and talking to people and they didn't even notice.
Yeah, right. That's funny. So the basically you relaxed, and it just kind of it worked itself out. And
Yeah.
and for me it was a similar thing too. It was like, if you what I learned is that if your tongue goes against your teeth, you make a th sound, and s becomes a th, and if you hold your tongue back, then it comes out as an s. So I just trained myself to do that too. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny, right? It's like the I guess everybody has their own little struggle that they kind of feel alone in, and they just kind of, like you have to work it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting story.
But you never know what someone's going through, and you never know what they might be struggling with, and but meanwhile that's like it could be the thing that they're preoccupied with, and you know I think it just pays to give people, to give people space and some understanding that they might be going through something, and just have no idea what to do about it, and it might just occur to us like it's no big deal, but to them it's huge.
Yeah, yeah. And the other important thing that I learned as well is just like deal making, because that I learned how to do that through dancing.
Hmm.
Again, just everybody wants to know kind of like, okay, either what is it going to help my kids with, right? And so it was a fun and cool experience. It's going to challenge them. It's going to be something new and fresh, right? So they'd be learning something new that would help them overall as dancers. But then also the studios were like, okay, I got to pay for the rent and the electricity and everything, right? Food, snacks. So, if you can figure out ways to so that they pay pretty much zero out of pocket, but then they can make some too, just for a fun little weekend thing, then that's cool. So, I mean, I took that into the Instagram business as well, and I started doing things for free because I knew that a lot of these celebrities and people have used a lot of other people and have either gotten burned, promised something, but never delivered what they wanted, got and asked for, or they were just it just didn't work out, and so approaching them in a new way, a fresh way, by saying, hey, let me prove myself. Let me show you what I can do for a couple months. And if you like it, then let's work out a good deal.
Right, and creating value, and also you're finding like a way to create value that they hadn't even thought of, like in just an extra way to make money from what they have, whatever resources they have, or facility, or account. It's just extra monetization possibilities.
Yeah. And I think what was attracted to them was like, okay, whoa, like he's going to grow my audience. He's going to grow my numbers, not just my followers, but also like he's going to get people to buy like my stuff that are like high ticket products through Instagram. That was cool because people are always looking to ways like, okay, if I spend X, then what do I get? right? They're always calculating and doing numbers. And so, I mean, I think if you can figure that out, I mean, that's the ultimate combo.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've obviously figured out a lot of that about how to scale people on Instagram, how to reach more people, and so you're actually working on a book right now, right? That deals with exactly that, with reaching
Yeah.
more people, right?
Yeah. This will be my first book. It's called Reach. It's, yeah, how to connect with anyone, grow your influence, and build a lifestyle business. And yeah, it's a super exciting thing that I'm working on, and pretty much it's going to map out the exact strategies that I've used to connect with celebrities, big influencers, super successful business people, and how I've been able to, grow up my business through relationships, doing them the right way, the ethical ways, and at the same time traveling the world and working from anywhere. And so, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Like, just the little things that I do every single day to outreach and connect with people, to how I'm doing it, like on, when I'm out and about living life on, I'm traveling and on planes and in public places. So it'll be
Yeah.
fun. It's gonna
No,
be fun.
absolutely. I mean, all three of those things are things that you've mastered: connecting with people, building influence, and creating a lifestyle business. And speaking of which, like, so um, you've gotten to stay in an inordinate. I just stumbled on my own words there. You've gotten to stay an inordinate number of nights in hotels for free,
Oh yeah.
based upon like your strategies, right? Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, well, so I've gone over like 750 nights in the past 4 years for myself and my friends. Last year,
Wait, are there even 750 nights in 4 years? Just kidding. I mean, but that's literally about
yeah,
1/3 of the nights over the last 4 years.
yeah. So it's crazy, and not just any hotel, and not just the rooms. I'm getting full board experiences, meaning breakfast, lunch, dinner, um, full course lunches, spa experiences, activities, tours, the whole works. Last year I got a hotel that in Bali, Indonesia, that gifted me 125 nights for free. So I used 50 nights straight for myself, and then I gifted 75 away to my friends and family and strangers. And so it's just, all thanks to Instagram. Really, it's just when you have a big audience and a big platform, a lot of raving fans, you can use that, you can leverage that for good, to either give people awesome experiences, like I was able to help people, send them on their honeymoons or 10-year wedding anniversaries. Um, and when I'm at these places, I like to go out and do things too. It's not like I'm just staying in the hotel. Like, I like to help out the local people and see local life and do some cool projects there, whether it's just teaching dance to a bunch of kids on the street or giving back in some way. But it's cool. And then the other thing is, yeah, just like yesterday, I got an offer to go to the Maldives. So we have 7 nights at Soniva, which is, it's $100,000 value trip, right? It's
Wow.
2 nights it's $23,000 a night for a 3-bedroom. It's the most highest level hotel I've ever stayed at. We got 7 nights there. We have 7 nights in a yacht, and so it'll be a 2-week vacay in the Maldives in December. So I'm excited, gonna escape the cold.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
But
And
you know, people ask me like, oh, like, how do you do it? And again, it's like, it's leveraging accounts, just leveraging my network and relationships, and just being the super connector, saying, okay, well, what do these hotels and hospitality industry people need now? They need exposure. They need tourists. That's how they make their money. And Maldives is just opening again to the public, right? So it's like a lot of these hotels are trying to figure out ways to stand out,
right.
differentiate themselves from everybody else that's opening. And so when you bring in somebody that has, like 5 million or 10 million followers on travel accounts, I mean, that's going to give them massive exposure and get them seen everywhere and get them a lot more bookings. So I monetize it that way. But then I'm a super connector for brands. So let's say the brands, they want to sponsor these trips because they want to get amazing, epic content in these tropical destinations with beautiful influencers and powerful influencers that have millions of followers. And so what I do is I reach out to a brand, send them our media kit, like give them a list of like 30 influencers, million followers each. I'm like, hey, this would be a good fit for your brand. Here's why. You got to pay for the flights. You got to pay for the fee. But you get all of this in exchange for doing so. And it's just, I try to create these offers for them so that everybody wins.
Nice. Well, you matchmake, like you find a match between people and experiences and brands that are looking for exposure, and it's synergy. Like it's just a benefit for all.
Yeah, because the hotels get the free, exposure from celebrities. Celebrities get an epic vacation. They get paid money, free trip, and then the brands get epic content and massive exposure. So it's a three-way win. But yeah, I'm just trying to get more into like product placement and promoting and influencer marketing that way, because that's what's really working.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
And so, how's it coming with the book? When do you think that will be ready to go?
My book is gonna be like out in like next spring. So I mean, we're taking our time, just getting all of like our marketing strategies in place, building up my community, building up a challenge. We have a lot of things in the works, but yeah, it should be dropping early next year.
Awesome. So if people would like to find out more about you, would like to connect with you, how do they go about doing so?
Yeah, so you guys can go to my website, zachbenson.life, or assistagram.com for my Instagram growth services. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to connect. I'd love to hear your story and see how we can support each other.
That's awesome. Zach, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for, getting up early to, to be on this little show, as I put it. And again, really a pleasure having a conversation with you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Innovations and Breakthroughs with your host, Rich Goldstein. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web at innovationsandbreakthroughs.com, and we'll see you next time.